on a blistering summer day in 217 AD, beneath a merciless sun rising slowly over the parched desert plains near Nisibis, two vast armies stood poised, each destined to decide the fate of empires through blood and steel. The sand shimmered, reflecting an ominous brilliance that seemed to mock the anxious hearts beating beneath thousands of armor-clad chests. The silence hung thick, pierced only by the occasional neigh of restless horses and the whispered prayers of soldiers, their breath heavy with anticipation. But how had Rome and Parthia arrived at this critical juncture, yet another brutal chapter in their centuries-old rivalry? The path to Nisibis was paved not merely with ambition, but also betrayal, family strife, and political intrigue, each turn of events sharpening the stakes until conflict became inevitable. Decades earlier, Rome teetered on the brink of chaos, following the demise of the tyrannical emperor Commodus, whose death plunged the empire into a maelstrom of political upheaval. The ensuing year, known grimly as the Year of the Five Emperors, saw the imperial throne auctioned off shamelessly by the Praetorian Guard to the wealthy senator Didius Julianus, a humiliating spectacle that shattered Rome's dignity. Julianus's brief and inglorious reign quickly dissolved into civil war, engulfing the empire in flames and bloodshed. Out of this chaos arose a hardened commander, Septimius Severus, whose calculating eyes saw beyond immediate strife to the grand opportunities awaiting him. Emerging victorious over his rivals at decisive battles in Byzantium and Lugdunum, Severus secured the throne, yet his gaze turned ever eastward, drawn inexorably by Parthia's internal vulnerabilities. In 197 AD, exploiting divisions within the Parthian Empire under King Vologases V, Severus marched boldly through Mesopotamia, swiftly capturing Seleucia and Babylon, and pillaging the rich capital of Ctesiphon. Although victorious, Roman historian Cassius Dio warned ominously that this triumph was expensive, destructive, and perilous, prophetically underscoring the dangers of overstretched ambition. But Severus was pragmatic. Recognizing the threat of overstretch, he settled peaceably, establishing a new Roman province in Mesopotamia and securing his dynasty. His two sons, the ruthless Caracalla and younger Geta, were poised to inherit this legacy. Yet peace within the Severan household was as fragile as porcelain, doomed to shatter under the weight of Caracalla's ruthless ambition. In February 211, the old emperor's deathbed wish for fraternal harmony unraveled spectacularly. Rivalry between Caracalla and Geta simmered into deadly paranoia, their joint rule degenerating into an untenable farce. Their mother, Julia Domna, desperately sought peace, even contemplating dividing the empire between East and West. Her efforts tragically ended on December 26th, when Caracalla, consumed by paranoia, orchestrated his younger brother's assassination within the sanctuary of their mother's presence. Now sole emperor, Caracalla's reign was defined by violence and suspicion. Distrusted by Rome's elites, he leaned heavily on the Praetorian Guard and legions, ensuring their loyalty through extravagant payments and military campaigns. Yet Caracalla's erratic rule planted seeds of dissent, eventually leading him eastward in 216 to confront simmering tensions along Rome's volatile frontier. The Parthian Empire, too, struggled internally. Artabanus V, the ambitious younger brother of King Vologases VI, had carved out his own dominion in Media, directly challenging Parthian unity. Caracalla saw a perfect opportunity, cymically proposing marriage to Artabanus's daughter. Artabanus, astutely sensing Roman duplicity, refused. Caracalla took offense, and thus, a pretext was manufactured for war. Yet before Caracalla's grand eastern schemes could fully unfold, fate intervened violently. In April 217, he was assassinated by Macrinus, a praetorian prefect keenly aware of Rome's precarious state. As Macrinus hastily seized power, Artabanus mobilized swiftly, driven by vengeance for Caracalla's treachery and atrocities committed in Parthian lands. Thus, the sands of Nisibis witnessed the convergence of these bitter histories. Artabanus's cavalry, famed Parthian archers astride swift mounts, surged forward beneath a blazing sun. Arrows filled the sky, descending like deadly rain upon Roman legionaries who stood firm, their disciplined ranks absorbing wave after wave of fierce assaults. But Rome's heavy infantry, patient and resilient, awaited their moment. As casualties mounted, Macrinus, displaying remarkable cunning, feigned retreat. Hidden metal spikes, half buried in shifting sands, maimed horses and camels alike, breaking Parthian momentum. Roman troops counterattacked fiercely, turning the tide. The battlefield a grim tableau of human tragedy and valor. 3 brutal days of combat left neither side clearly victorious. Both claimed triumph, yet neither could afford the steep cost of continuing the bloodshed. Macrinus, sensing opportunity, dispatched envoys to Artabanus, boldly proclaiming Caracalla's demise, the true architect of Parthian grievances. He offered restitution, returning captives and delivering 200 million sesterces in compensation, a bitter pill sweetened by necessity. Artabanus, weary of bloodshed and seeking stability, accepted. Yet peace would prove fleeting for both empires. Macrinus soon fell victim to dynastic machinations, executed in June 218 by supporters of the Severan lineage. Parthia's reprieve was similarly brief. The weary empire, battered by internal divisions and relentless Roman conflict, succumbed finally in 224 AD at Hormozgan, replaced by the vigorous Sassanian Empire, an even more formidable adversary destined to challenge Rome's hegemony anew. At Nisibis, both empires glimpsed the harsh truth. Victory in war often comes at such great cost, it is indistinguishable from defeat. Rome and Parthia, glorious civilizations whose destinies intertwined violently across centuries, ultimately revealed war's cruelest irony, its ability to devour even those who wield it most skillfully. Thus, the sands settled once more upon the plains of Nisibis, hiding blood and ambition beneath their indifferent embrace, awaiting the next cycle of strife to emerge from the ceaseless ambitions of men.